there it is, of course, a cameraman again, and behind, you know, the scenes, but this will be a little bit of a different video. In this video, I'm going to show people how a blind person would cook hamburgers on the stovetop. So this could be really good for someone who might not be able to know how to do it, who's blind and whatnot. But I have to get a couple of things out of the way first of all. And that being is, basically I have, somewhere over here, I have a talking thermometer, which I'm not going to use.
67.1 degrees Fahrenheit.
I just wanted to demonstrate that it talks. So what you want to do with this is when you're cooking the meat, probably near the end, stick it halfway into the meat, because if you stick it too far and it's touching the pan, it'll read it hotter than it is. But I'm not using this because I've cooked it many times, so I know kind of generally how it goes. And I'm not looking to make a masterpiece here, so as long as it's edible, that's good. But for the most part, it turns out fine. But I'm not going to be using this, but I just wanted to mention it. And so I'm going to show step by step how I do this. So first and foremost, I'm going to walk over here to grab a spatula and my thing. I'm making sure it's like a good one, right one that I use. And I have a specific spatula that I use. I'm looking for. Well, actually, it's not there, I don't think, but oh well, whatever. So this is the spatula, and this is this, and then I come over here. I have to, like, you know, feel around just to make sure I'm getting over here, and I put my thing. I actually think there's a light, and now I put it on the burner to get it, you know, straightened out, and we will be back there in a second. So now I'm going to get, you know, the meat from the fridge, and I basically freeze a lot of my meat in hamburgers. So I get these 6-ounce patties. I normally cook 2 patties at a time, but I'm only going to be cooking 1. But I'm even going to show you how I open the package. So I'm going to come over here and oh, okay. Life of a blind person. I'm going to come over here and grab a knife. I just basically kind of find a good spot and just cut like that. I put the knife down generally, and based on that cut, I start to open it. Now, I've washed my hands before this. Obviously, you don't need to see me wash my hands. But this is kind of how I do it. These things have papers. I just move them. And then I take the hamburger patty. This is like 75% lean, 25% fat, grass-fed, grass-finished, kind of the best quality meat, really, that I get from a thing called U.S. Wellness Meats. And typically, like I said, I cook both 2 patties at once. I'm going to throw this away, but in this case I don't, so I just put this back in the fridge. There we go. And now the fun can begin. The oven part of my stove is electric and the top is gas. And how we do this with the left burner over here, I know that we have pieces of tape, so I have an idea of what is. And so what I have to first do is, of course, light the stove. And once I can hear it light, basically, and that's how I know, because people are like, well, how do you know when it's lit? I hear it. I hear it light, and then I go to turn it. So I'm going to, there we go. See, I heard it. And then I will turn it, and so I will get it between, you know, about 5 or 6 on the thing. And I kind of will listen to how much the flame is going to kind of get an idea, because I know kind of the angle that 5 would be, or 6. So it's about 5 or 6, you know, give or take, like I said. So it really just depends. And typically, at this point, while it's heating up, I wait, and then a lot of times in between these things, I count like to 20 to 30 in my head while I'm waiting for this to heat up, and then I wait for it to heat up and start like sizzling before I start the countdown. I use my phone to start a timer, which I will show you in a moment. Okay, So now I think it's heated up enough, so I will show you basically how I do timing, because that's the most important thing to get this down, is to use my phone for a timer. So I'm going to come over here and hopefully Google Assistant will work with me. I don't know if you'll be able to hear it, but hey Google, set a timer for 5 minutes. So it just said it was starting now, and basically a timer will go off and I'll hear it, and then after that I will know to flip it. After I flip the hamburger, I count 30 seconds after the timer goes, or up to 30 to let it cook a little longer. Then when I flip it, I count 30, then go start my timer for another 5 minutes. So we will be back once that timer is finished, and then I will show you how I flip it. And I just wanted to let people know that with my hamburger, I just cook the hamburger and add salt to it. I don't use bread or cheese right now because I'm on a low carb diet and I want to keep it simple, but you can make your sandwich however you want. And we're back. The timer went off, and now I'm about to go over here and flip the hamburger and get shot by grease. But pretty simple. So hopefully Jared can show this, kind of. So I just flip it. Now I'm about to set another timer, but what I'm gonna tell you is I sometimes cook 2 hamburgers. So say you flip it and you're not sure if you actually flipped it correctly. I have a little trick that I can show you that you can test for. So take your spatula and line it up and run your finger down. That way you touch the actual meat and not the pan. And you can touch it, and obviously if it wasn't cooked, you would tell if it was on the raw side, if you didn't flip it correctly. So that's a good tip. Just touch it with your finger, you'll instantly be able to tell. You won't burn yourself too much because you're not touching the pan, so it's aligned. So I think that's a really good tip. And after another 5 minutes after I set this, I guess I'll show it again. With my phone, you just set it. Hey Google, set a timer for 5 minutes. And I know you couldn't hear Google, but it's starting now. And as before, we will be back in 5 minutes when this is done. And we're back, and we're pretty much ready to, finish off the burger. Jared will be taste testing this when I am finished, but I'm going to come over here and I'm going to turn that off, and I'm going to come and grab a plate. Now, put it on the burner. Hopefully Jared is seeing everything here. And all good. And so, we just take it, transfer over, and the patty's there. Now, so typically I would put a paper towel over the grease to suck it up. I'm not going to do that at this moment. But next, I'm actually going to throw some salt on it. I use this sea salt that is the purest of sea salts. It's called Redmond's Real Salt, and it's on Amazon. I'm going to throw it off, and while I go put this up, Jared can look at, well, I will just come over here and actually show you the patty. We're going to get a closer up view. And how does that look, Jared?
Looks cooked.
It looks cooked.
All right, I'm going to try Dylan's.
Yep.
Dylan Ramsay.
No.
Let me see. It seems browned all the way through, so that's good.
Yeah, it's a little bit hot, probably. It has to blow on it.
All right, this is me taste testing Dylan's famous burger.
This is just a normal hamburger cooked by a blind person.
It's not bad at all.
Not bad at all.
No, I like that sea salt. How many more are you making?
So with that was the video on how a blind person cooks hamburger patties. Jared said it tasted good. I know they taste good for me eating them. So, with that, hopefully you learned something. You learned a little bit of tricks and stuff. But, if you really like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you really, triple really like the video, please consider subscribing. Much better, awesome, interesting content is coming. But yeah, and if you want to hit the notification bell so you get notifications, that would be awesome too. But thank you all so much for watching. I've been Dylan.
And I've been Jared.